The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 18th day of January, 2023. Welcome to the Daily Hour, Bermuda's Daily Talk Show, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Central Durham, and Tamara McHale will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sancha, happy Wednesday. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good today. It's a good day, good week. I'm still in that new year, new me, refreshing sort of vibe. It's been going well for me.
Well, this is great to hear. You know, you're still feeling good and so on. But you told me something last night that in private, but I'm going to share it in public.
Oh, God.
I'm like that, and I'm mad.
I'm always careful what I share with you.
Yeah. Most people are, but I was like, last night I felt so bad, and I'm like, we didn't know before we went on air, but when you told me last night that Paws went missing, her dog went missing yesterday morning, folks, I was like, and you didn't tell us, like, we could have been on air getting everybody, the whole TDH community, looking for Paws and whatnot. She didn't say nothing. And then last night we're talking, and she says, Jamal, did you see my post? I'm like, no, what post? I put it on Facebook and everything. That Paws went missing this much. But I share that, right? Because Sancha's an emotional being as well. Right?
I'm about to cry now.
And when she was telling me, I'm like, this can't be real. She didn't hit nobody up. She didn't hit us up, right? But she said she posted. But I'm glad Paws made it back in. But you got to tell the story.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, Paws went on a walkabout, and I was so distressed because I could not find him for hours, and I was pretty sure either he got knocked down because he's so small or someone took him. So I made a whole collage on Facebook and I posted it in the Lost and Found Dog. I put it on my WhatsApp. All my friends were sharing it. Paws left the house at like 4:30. And I'm sure everyone would be like, well, how could he leave the house at 4:30? Paws barked the house down in order to go out. I let him out quickly, but I had to use the bathroom. I'm like, oh! And like I came back out quickly. Paws was gone, and Paws came back 4 hours later, just strolling in the yard, like, hey guys, had a little walk.
I was just saying.
So upset.
Folks, Paws. Sancha said, you know what? Paws, let me put you outside. Paws said, you know what? Let me go check this. Let me go check some things out, right? No, he went and checked things out. He saw the price of things. He said, now I'm going back home where everything's free. That's what Paws did. But we're glad that Paws made it back home.
Exactly. And all day yesterday, you know how many messages I got? Is Paws home yet? Did you find him? I'm like, this dog?
I'm mad I didn't see the post because when Sancha told him, I'm like, Sancha, you have a vehicle. You didn't say nothing to us. Nobody in the TDH crew knew.
Because I would have been embarrassed today because everybody would have been looking for him.
That's what would have happened. Your sister Sam Cat Play says, "Get it, Sancha. My daughter's rabbit is famous for going missing." Wascally rabbit. I'm just saying. Sometimes the pets want to go out and figure out the world on their own. And once they realize it's not what they think it is, they come back home. It's like children. You know what I'm saying?
Dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, Sean, I thought this. Sean DeShield says dog needed to get her groove on. I thought it.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna need that to learn. Anyway, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome our good friend back to the show, Jodi Virgil from Organized Solutions Bermuda. She's gonna help us get our lives in order. The daily play is music today, so Sandra's gonna be guessing the lyrics to a song. You all, I want to see if anyone knows these lyrics as well. Don't forget, the show is now available live on our website, thedailyhour.com. So you no longer need social media to tune in live to the Daily Hour. If you haven't already, please subscribe on our website and follow us on our social media channels. I will say it again. Subscribe and follow. All right. Sandra, let's get to today's conversation. Speaking of Paws and dogs and Paws going to get his groove on, Maya reported on something very disturbing yesterday, which I think if you had let us know about Paws, we probably would have been in panic mode based on the story that she did report on. But Maya reported on some dog attacks in Bermuda, about 4 dog attacks in over recent days. And in particular, there was one including a 10-year-old girl. I remember her saying,
Oh my goodness.
a 76-year-old woman as well. It just seems like a rise, or maybe they're just being reported. Over here, it looks like government dog attacks underreported, says government. So in one breath, I'm saying this is what's reported. The Royal Gazette has another article saying government are saying they are underreported, which is concerning as well. Well, the question of the morning, and because this is a matter of our safety. And again, had Sencha told us yesterday, knowing that that was a story in the news, I honestly would have been concerned. I in a different, not just that Paws is lost, but with all these dog attacks, reported, is Paws okay? What can we do to curb the rise in dog attacks? That's the question. How can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? Because Maya reported 4 over a short time.
Mm-hmm.
The government saying they're underreported.
Mm-hmm.
This is not cool. And I'm going to tell you why it's not cool. I was joking yesterday on air that, I was out for my jog yesterday morning. And usually, I'm trying not to have my music up too loud so I can actually hear my surroundings because it's dark. I now have a light on me so at least people can see me. And I heard, whoo, and it was a Great Dane with his owner. And I, jumped like, hey, now, right? Now, a couple things came to mind. One, I Googled whether it's legal for me to carry a stun gun while I'm running or something, or a baton or something while I'm running, like just something for protection, because there's wildlife out here. But the second thing is, what can I do to protect myself or keep myself safe while out there? Because people go out to exercise. The last thing anyone wants to do is have to utilize additional energy they probably don't have to fight off a dog. So question of the morning, based on what's being reported in Bermuda over the last few days, how can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? How can we keep Bermuda safe? Is it a government thing? Do they need a crackdown? Do people need to be more responsible? Do we need to relook at the dog bans list?
You know what? I think that there are two sets of dog owners.
Mm-hmm.
We have the owners that actually love dogs, have these dogs because they're part of the family, they're family dogs. And then there's a small group, and I'm not saying that these are the dogs that attack people, but there are a small group of people that have these pit bulls. And it makes me so sad because pit bulls could be such sweet, loving dogs if raised in the right manner. But they also have these pit bulls that they fight, and they raise to be vicious. They raise them to attack, right? And I think it comes down to us. If these people that are raising these dogs in an ill manner, it comes down to us. You know how the police say, if you see something, say something?
Mm-hmm.
Because if these dogs are now get off the leash, like Paws went missing, they're trained to attack. This is what happens. And it's almost as if they are in a situation where they feel threatened as well, they're going to protect themselves and they attack.
Mm,
and stood up on the other side of they attack someone who's now hurt. And I think it's a lot to do with how they were raised and
mm.
the situation that they're in. Um, I don't know. I think that we need to help the wardens to identify the people that are raising these dogs in ill-mannered situations, so that they wouldn't be allowed to have dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I think I spent a lot of time on the AKC, I think it's called American Kennel Club website, just reading up on certain dogs. Don't read too much into that, by the way, but just reading up, and it's so much to it, right?
Mhm.
And you just made me think of something. Owning a dog is not just a privilege; it's a responsibility, right?
It is.
And I think uh, it's I don't want to compare a dog to children. I don't. But the truth and the fact of the matter is that um, there's a certain responsibility required for both. And unfortunately, the government cannot tell you, unless it was China at one point, you cannot have children or you can't own a dog. They can tell you what kind of dog, right, based on what they deem safe for the community.
Mhm.
But I don't want government telling you you can't have a dog. I don't want government saying what dog you can have. I really do believe in a free state as far as that. But how free do we go? At the expense and safety of others? How can we curb the rise in dog attacks? What I'm getting from what you said, Sancha, is the best way would probably be to hold owners accountable for their dogs.
Yeah. I mean, Jamal, what you said is true. Like, you don't want to compare it to children, but I tell people all the time, I don't have to take Maddox to the bathroom at 4:30 in the morning.
Mhm,
He's potty trained. You know what I mean? He goes to the bathroom on his own. When you have a dog, they are kids for
mhm,
the rest of their lives. Like, you are responsible for taking, they never grow up.
mhm,
It's like having a kid that never grows up, and you have to take responsibility for that. I was wrong that Paws got out of the yard, and if for that fact, if Paws was a bigger dog, people would be intimidated by it.
mhm,
So it's a responsibility, like
mhm.
24-hour
Yeah,
job.
Trent Sancho was an irresponsible dog owner, is what she just said. Question of the morning, folks. How can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? Sean DeShield says, hold dog owners accountable by imposing prison sentences and or heavy financial penalties. What are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. That just made me like, ooh. Um, I get where I think it's a bit extreme, but then when I look back, and if I was on the other end of Maya's report yesterday,
Mm,
I would probably feel that way.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. I get Sean. I see. I don't want to look at the punishment. I want to look at the education and training. And I think I would probably tackle the dog breeders,
Do
right?
we have any behavioral animal behavior like dog whisperers on island?
I don't know if dog whisperers, but I know Jack Castle is a dog trainer. Butterfield, I forget his first name. I believe he's very good at training and advising dogs. There's quite a few people in Bermuda that do it. I think that you know we there needs to be. I want to focus on breeders, right, in Bermuda. So if there are people responsible for providing dogs or breeding dogs, I think those are people that should be held responsible, like the DNA of these dogs that they are selling to people and putting amongst our community. uh you know what's the temperament of these dogs? Do they have licenses to provide these dogs? When I grew up in my neighborhood, at least, everyone's dog was outside. As I've grown older, every dog I know is inside. Well, oh, but a couple, but most dogs are inside, right? I don't, and this is no offense to people who do it, because to each their own. As I've grown up, I don't like dogs in chains, on chains, or in cages, right? But when I grew up, that's all I saw, right? Dogs in cages and chains. And I think dogs are free spirits like humans. But I do go back to what you said, Tench. I agree that a dog is like a child that never grows up. Folks, the question of the morning, after Maya's report yesterday and in the RG today, um, how can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? As reported, there were 4 dog attacks on Friday in Bermuda, 4 in one day. That is insane. 4 different incidents of dog attacks in Bermuda on Friday. It's an issue in our community, and let's be honest, children play outside, right? Children play outside. I love dogs. I don't want to own one. I love them. I love them because they're someone else's. I'm not really afraid of dogs, regardless of the dog. I respect dogs, but at the end of the day, I'm not everyone. There are children, there are elderly people, there are other dogs. We need to create something that makes it a safe community and space for everyone. Question again, how can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? Nicole Walker Central.
She says, I think as a condition of licensing, every owner should have to have their dog trained and socialized. My 100-pound Roddy was aggressively approached by much smaller dogs, the worst of which was Yorkies.
I know a Yorkie that
It's a big dog. That pause when he's walking past these big dogs. He's like, "Rrr." I'm just like, yo, you're 5 pounds. You're 5 pounds. Who are you going to do it? And I can't save you. I cannot save you.
See, it's something about what's that called? Napoleon syndrome, when the small dog barks at the big one.
Yep.
I do agree. I do agree where it's not just big dogs and pit bulls. The smaller dogs need to be socialized. I definitely, because let's say they do go bark at these big dogs and that big dog just snaps, well trained, but it's also there to defend its family and itself. And that small dog, they feel, is a threat to its family. Who's going to be responsible then? I do believe that no matter the size of the dog, the proper socialization and training is necessary. Definitely necessary. Let's go back to the comments. Nicole Walker says, when it comes to breeding, there are those that who breed to improve the breed and those who breed that don't look at dogs' traits as they are in it for a payday. And that's a concern. That's what I was referring to, Nicole. I think that it's irresponsible to breed in that manner. I think that instead of just looking at dog owners, I think it would be imperative for those responsible to look at dog breeders. And I know some people will say, well, a lot of dogs are bred illegally. Well, cracking down on illegal dog breeders is part of the conversation. So I feel like this would be a way to get closer to the solution, but cracking down on dog breeders, both legal and illegal, and ensuring that it's not just a payday, it's not just a moneymaker, because one person's payday is another person's expense in the operating room from a poorly bred and trained dog. Sean D. Shields says, implement dog tracking laws so all dogs are tracked like people with COVID, aka contact tracing for all dogs. Technology is the answer. Don't all dogs have to be chipped? I had up the app.
Listen, when these dogs are microchipped, it doesn't trace them. So Paws is microchipped. All it is like if you find him, you scan him and it comes up with his number and it's like, yes, this is my dog. But why can't we just add an element of you can track them? I don't know. It has to be some reason why they don't, but I feel like that's the easiest solution. I could have found Paws in 2 seconds yesterday.
Yeah, I try to look at the Dog Act to see about the chip, but yeah, now you've made sense about the chipping. So maybe treating the dogs like they treated the human beings with COVID. I take your point, Sean D. Shields. How can we curb the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? Folks, how many of you, just yes or no, do you go out for like a walk or a jog or just exercise daily? Yes or no? Do you go out for a jog or exercise daily? And Sancha, I asked that question because I think we all do it as free spirits. We don't even think that anything can happen. We just walk about. The amount of dogs, like I go for a jog in the morning just to put it out there, and then I actually walk in the evening. So I do 2 different things. I go for my jog in the morning and then walk in the evenings. Now, in the community I live is everyone has to have their dog on a leash and they have to be walking it. Even still, sidewalks, some people will see you coming and it might be this big dog. Well, I'm not moving, just hold your dog closer, right? Well, 2 days ago, this lady weren't paying attention and her dog came right up to me. Again, I am not afraid of dogs. Like, I'm not like it. And I say this respectfully. Now, Peter, whatever, don't come hurt me. But if a dog's gonna bite me, I'm biting back. That's just the way I think. I'm not afraid of a dog. I tell you what, like I'm a man. I will defend myself, right? But that's what's that?
Against a dog?
I gotta defend myself. If a dog attacks me, I'm gonna defend myself. No,
I'm afraid of dogs.
no, I was. Trust me, I was. I'll tell you off here. It's an incident that I just changed me. I'm not. A dog. I'm bigger than most dogs. Even a Great Dane. I'm bigger than that Great Dane. No. And people saying, "Oh, our size don't matter." Well, you'll see. And look, I watch a little bit of MMA. How can we curb the rise in dog attacks? We've got Tamara McHale coming up. Don't worry, folks. Renee Simmons and Sean DeShields for you, Sanj.
So Renee Simmons says, if pit bulls were banned, there wouldn't be any attacks. There were no attacks before the ban was lifted. It's just gotten out of control.
I don't want to blame a breed. Honestly, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say what Renee Simmons is saying isn't true. That's what I'm not going to do because factually, I can't say that's not true. But what I will say is I don't think when we blame breeds, it makes the argument easy to also blame racists, if you get what I'm saying. I have a friend who has a big pit bull. I used to be afraid to walk in his yard with his old pit bull. Today, I don't know this big dog. But when I saw it, when I was in Bermuda recently, I walked right in the yard, touched the dog. I'm just not afraid. I respect it. That's its yard. And if it wants to defend itself, so be it. It's bigger than his old one. But he doesn't train it to do that. Right? So I don't want to blame the breed. It's a beautiful, nice dog.
Yeah. And like I said before, pit bulls could be so loving if raised the right way. Like I know tons of pit bulls, like I have a cousin. She has 2 pit bulls, like huge. Paul's used to hang out with them, and Paul's is like this compared to them. And they were like best friends. Like at no point did they ever think of like attacking him, or they could be such sweet, loving dogs. They are very protective.
Yeah. They are. Yes or no? Do you go walking or jogging? Sean DeShield says a yes at Horseshoe Bay, and no dogs or horses allowed. Praise the Lord. I think they're allowed this time of year, right? They're just not allowed during the summer.
Not during the summer.
Yeah. Shikarina says, I walk with someone who is afraid of dogs and carries mace. Maybe that's what I should find out. No, seriously, I was being serious earlier when I'm trying to figure out, and it's not about dogs, it's about wildlife. Like I see every and any kind of thing. I mean, the rabbits again, thinking I was chasing them this morning on my jog. Good morning to you, Marcia, Robin, Patrice, Bradshaw. Manuela John says, I believe there are penalties for out-of-control dogs, animals, but they may need to be carried out consistently. Yes, I have the dog acts up. There are fines there, but obviously this doesn't seem to be a deterrent. So we probably need to relook at that, Manuela John. Folks, we're going to bring Tamara McHale in for the news break, and then we've got Jodi Virgil coming up from Organized Solutions Bermuda. But hey, folks, we've got an issue in our community involving dog attacks, and we need to figure it out before someone gets really hurt. And people have already been hurt, but we don't want anything fatal. All right, let's bring in Tamara McHale for your Daily Hour news break.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Well, good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Tell me something. Are you afraid of dogs?
I am. I don't like dogs. I'm sorry. Because when I was a little girl, I was walking with my aunt and dogs rushed us and she got like a big bite that's still on her leg to this day. It's scarred. I ran away because I was small and could run fast, but
no.
Yeah, I was traumatized. So I'm not I will like them from a distance, especially the big dogs. Maybe the little ones not so bad, but especially the big ones.
Well, I'm going to share with you. You're not alone. There's someone else on this show. Goes by the name of Larry Marshall Jr., but I'm not telling you any more about him. But he's afraid of dogs. Him and his brother, Lamont, they are afraid of dogs. Like I think of all of my friends, he just doesn't like them. He doesn't like them. He legit, I would love to see him. Like, he's cool with Bella, our dog. Like, I think, he's cool now. Like, he knows her, but he's probably one of my first friends just does not like dogs. So you're not alone, Tamara. We completely understand.
I'm more a kitty cat kind of person.
Oh no, I think they're evil. Cats.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I don't trust cats.
I don't do cats.
He's actually did it. He said, "Yep, I'm that person. Best dogs are the ones that stay away from me." See, I tell you, he don't do dogs. You gotta get paws around him, Sanch. You gotta bring paws.
It's so sweet. Like I said, he's tiny.
Hey, why do you think him and his brother are so fast? Right, he's running from dogs. Anyway, let's get to the news break. What you got for us tomorrow?
All right, this is the Daily Hour news break for today, Wednesday, January 18th, brought to you by the People's Pharmacy. So in the news today, the price for gasoline has fallen for January. The price at the pump for gasoline has fallen 5.2 cents from the price cap put in place in February 2022, announced a pleased Premier and Minister of Finance, David Burt. And so he noted that, quote, as a result of Russia's war in Ukraine, consumers worldwide faced record high gas prices. However, the same cannot be said for Bermuda. Now, according to Bermuda, a spokesperson added that the new maximum price of gasoline sold in Bermuda is $228.09 a liter, down from the price cap of $234.01 per liter from February last year. And the change went into effect yesterday, January 17th.
Let me know if you all recognize the difference at the pump.
I bought gas yesterday. I don't think
She
that.
didn't feel it, folks. She didn't feel it. She got her gas too soon. What else you got?
Too soon indeed. Still in Bermuda, according to the Royal Gazette, a convicted killer who escaped custody to visit his sick grandmother has had 15 months more added to his prison sentence. 45-year-old Antoine Anderson pleaded guilty last year to escaping lawful custody at the prison farm in an incident on August 10. And he told the court that he made his escape in an effort to visit his grandmother after he was told his permission to see her had been revoked. So yesterday in court, the judge pretty much said that the name of the judge is Juan Wolf. And he said that the escapee was an opportunistic endeavor without violence or threats, but inmates must be aware that those who escape custody will face additional time behind bars.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I get when you go to prison, you got to remember that you don't have the same privileges as a person that's not in there. So I think it's a tough one. You want someone to be able to see their grandmother. You want, but I don't know. It's a tough one.
You know what? I've heard so many different things, and it is tough. And I've heard situations where grandparents were dying, and they were denied. It was a situation like that. I shouldn't say it, but I'm sorry, I'm going. No.
Yeah. I again, that's what I'm saying. It's tough. It's like it's easy to judge from the outside, but we don't know that relationship between the individual and their grandmother. But there are consequences.
It is
their way anyway. But
indeed. Also, American Airlines is set to restart their Miami flight after a short break. So daily service between Bermuda and Miami is set to resume in February. American Airlines paused its Miami flight on January 9. However, according to next month's schedule, the service is set to return on February 2.
So we'll be seeing you, Jamal.
Yeah, I'm coming, folks. I'm coming. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's my flight to Bermuda. That's it. So happy to see it back, and hopefully that trip that the BTA had in Miami recently got them some people to Bermuda. No, you saw the meeting. They had a little barbecue or something done, or dinner or something. So let's just hope it equates to some visitors to the island and not just more money spent on expensive filet mignon. What else you got for us?
All right, so quickly, some other regional news. It's election day in Antigua and Barbuda today, Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. So Prime Minister Gaston Brown is seeking a third consecutive term in office with his Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, ABLP, squaring off against the main opposition, the United Progressive Party, UPP, led by former Finance Minister Harold Lovell, whom the Prime Minister had defeated in the past two elections. An estimated 60,916 people are eligible to cast ballots in today's election.
Well, good luck to both of them. I know none of their stories, so may the best person for the country. Well, it's politics, never a best person. But anyway, you get me.
Well, a shameless plug, I had interviewed the Prime Minister of Antigua on my YouTube show, The Trailblazers with Tamara, so you can watch it and hear some of his story. And that was not since the election. That was like from last year.
Okay, well, no, I'll have to check it out, see what kind of individual he sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Also, quickly here in Jamaica, this story is currently the biggest news on the island after news broke that Olympic legend Usain Bolt was unfortunately among a number of clients at an investment firm on the island who had millions of dollars stolen, allegedly by staff. So yesterday, the sprint legend Usain Bolt gave the fraud-hit investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, 10 days to pay over approximately 2 billion Jamaican dollars that he said was in his account up to October last year. So last week, the entity disclosed that several of its clients were allegedly fleeced of millions of dollars in local and foreign currencies given to the firm to invest. So pretty much Bolt's attorney, they wrote to SSL on Monday, threatening the lawsuit. And according to the letter, the 36-year-old had a balance of Jamaican 2 billion or US 12.7 million as at October 31 last year in his account there. But the figure suddenly changed to Jamaican 1.8 million or US $12,000 when Bolt checked his accounts, after an ex-employee linked to the scheme reportedly alerted him on January 11.
You know what pisses me off about this?
Oh.
This brother is probably, tell me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, Tamara. He is the biggest Jamaican world global star since Bob Marley, probably, right?
He is.
This man could have taken his money to Wall Street or Geneva or Luxembourg, wherever. But he chose to use a local company in Jamaica, and you do him like this?
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. They're putting the blame at a lady who came forward, an ex-employee actually, who released a statement and stated how she did it and that her father had cancer and she was using some for treatments. But the interesting thing is that when the list of the person she allegedly stole from, Usain Bolt's name is not on that list of names. So obviously there would have been other fraudulent activities taking place. So it's caused an uproar on the island, admittedly, and people are outraged.
That is insane. And they should be outraged. Like, you don't treat like the person who's literally the biggest face, living face for Jamaica right now. You don't do it to anyone, but come on. All right, what else you got for? How's the weather looking? Give us some good news.
All right. So in the weather, in Bermuda, the weather service says plenty of fine and dry weather is expected for the remainder of the week, thanks to a high pressure anchor to the south. However, a weak front will bring a few showers on Wednesday night tonight, while a more active cold front will bring wetter and windier weather on Friday night. And here in Jamaica, weirdly enough, we had some really cold temperatures last weekend. I think it's because of what was happening in Florida. Like, we were really cold, but things are beginning to warm up. So it's now warm and sunny.
Yeah. I saw some folks in Jamaica saying it was cold there. I was like,
Yep.
really? And yeah, they're saying down in the 50s. So.
I was just going to say, what's to be called cold?
Yeah, they said down in the 50s.
Wow.
It was like I was out Saturday night with my friends and I had to put on a jacket and because it was like windy and cold. I was like, this is not Jamaica.
I had never heard of such, but hey, the climate's doing some crazy things. What you got days of the year for us, Ange?
Today is Museum Selfie Day.
Oh,
Museums are a great way to learn about history and art and are lots of fun for friends and families everywhere. However, sometimes when museums don't allow photographs, it can be difficult to enjoy remembering the times you had together. However, one day helps to solve that solution, and it's Museum Selfie Day. It's about museums and selfies combined into great cultural experience, so let's check it out. So,
music selfie day.
yes, let's go to the museum and take a selfie. Do you
Yeah.
like museums, Jamal?
Why you gonna ask me? Why you can't ask tomorrow?
I'm going to ask you. Do you like museums?
Yeah, the one that I asked all the audience if they've been to it last week, the National Museum of Bermuda. I like that one.
Do you like any others? When you go on vacation, do you make it a point to go to a
I
museum?
like the African American Museum in DC too. That's my favorite. Yeah, I like museums about Black history. I'm gonna be real.
Got it.
Show
Is,
me one.
is Madame Tussauds a museum? You consider it a museum?
Yeah, that's a museum. I've been there in Vegas before. Yeah.
I've been to the one in New York and I got to kiss Brad Pitt.
On that note, Tamara, you have a wonderful day. You'll see you tomorrow. That's just hilarious. Tamara McHale, folks. See you later. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We've got Jodi Virgil coming up from Organized Solutions Bermuda. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show. She sent you Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you don't know, you no longer need social media to tune into the Daily Hour. Just tell your family, tell your friends, go on thedailyhour.com and they can watch us live. That's right. Bermuda's Daily Talk Show is live on thedailyhour.com right now. So you no longer need social media. And although you cannot comment and engage on there right now, that is being worked on. All right. Without further ado, let's bring our guest today. We have one of our favorites, Organized Solutions Bermuda. Her name is Jodi Virgil, and she is pretty much family on the show. Welcome back, Jodi Virgil.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation and for the family. I love that piece of it.
Of course. Welcome back. It's been too long. Like I said, I'll be I'll say what I said to you backstage. We need you more than just once a year. Look, it's like those resolutions. You know, yesterday was Break Your Resolutions Day. That's what Phil said, day of the year. So we need to have you back to make sure people are, being consistent and making sure that we're continuing, because, people like me, we say we're going, keep things clean. And then I look at the dust now and we're only 2 weeks of shows in and it's piling up already. But, thank you.
Listen, I had to giggle yesterday when it was Ditch the Resolution Day, right? Because that's exactly what I think too. I'm not about a New Year's resolutions per se. I am about intentions. So I absolutely agree with that. But before we jump into that, I just have to say I'm so happy about the direction of the show. Let me just say congratulations. I love the new additions, the regional embracing. It's fantastic. And I'm so glad as well, Sancha, that pause was returned. Let me just say, when I was younger, I had a dog, and my dog used to sneak out at night too. And one night I looked out of the window and I'm saying, wait a minute, there's like 10 dogs down there. So it was a whole posse. Like they were all hanging, like partying at night. I don't know. So yeah, they have friends. They have friends. And thankfully, my dog didn't bite anybody, because that is such an issue. So I'm glad that pause is back. I'm glad that pause is back.
You know what? You guys are responsible dog owners, even though your dogs got out, because your dog, as far as we know, Paws didn't bite nobody, but your dogs didn't take nobody out. But no, we're all.
They just wanted to party.
I'm pretty sure, as Sean DeShield said in the comments earlier, Paws went do his thing. He went check somebody, and Sancha will never know. But that's the conversation. Again, thank you so much for doing this. But for those who don't know, you've been on the show quite a few times, but just let people know a bit about your background. Obviously, you've shared you've been in education and you transitioned. Just speak about your background and why you created the business that you have.
Sure. Organized Solutions Bermuda was created out of a personal need, in all honesty. I had been living abroad for about 10 years in university, and then was abroad working. And then in 2005, I returned home, and it was just the year of transition, to be honest. I was changing careers at the time. I was starting fresh after ending a relationship. I was moving back home, and we all know what that means in Bermuda. You move back into your childhood bedroom. and then, I moved into a studio. But really, it was a matter of me feeling overwhelmed. I had to downsize from my home overseas and, bring everything that I owned and leave a lot behind. And, I always tell this story that, an aunt of mine said to me, Jodi, it's just stuff. And even though it felt very personal and it felt as if, something was kind of being ripped from me, I kind of had to step back and say, you know what? My items don't represent me. They represent only an experience that I might have had. And it's my experiences that create myself. It's memories that I have that create the benefits of life and the positivity in life. And so when I came home, I had to research. I had to figure out what I could do to live in a small space and figure it out. And it led me to understanding of the professional organizing industry, which was at that point in time a relatively new industry when you think about it, starting in kind of the late 90s. So we're still relatively new, but it was something that helped me. And I figured if I needed the help and if I wanted to feel as if I wasn't alone, then I needed to share that with somebody else, because somebody else had to be going through what I was going through. And that's how we started.
I go through this every day. I promise you, I go through this. Like, I want to be that person, but exactly what you said, I'm so afraid of. I have everything, like this little paper that reminded me, and I don't even know why I keep it, because I'm never going to go back to it, right? But I still say my memories, I have to. So everything you said just now, like, made me feel like I couldn't breathe for a second. I was like, just talking about me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's overwhelming. And like I say all the time, I am my own client. Trust me. Everything that I share with clients, I struggle with myself, and I've had to figure out solutions.
So we've entered into the new year, which is a new season where people want to be refreshed and renewed. What are the best times of the year to declutter?
That's a great question, because oftentimes this is the time when people say, right, I'm going to create this epic goals and I'm going to do this and that. And the tricky part is that oftentimes when we have the lofty goals without recognizing the in-between, i.e. the small steps, oftentimes we set ourselves up for failure because we create something that becomes unattainable. I was doing some research for an article that I'm writing, and we found that it was a 2020 survey, and it was in Forbes Health. And it indicated that 55% of people don't reach the resolutions. And out of that, about 11% lasted a month, maybe another 14% lasted maybe 3 months. So, the research shows that it doesn't happen all the time. So here's what I say about that. It's always a good time to set intentions. Decluttering doesn't have to happen in the new year. And the other thing is that we live life 365 days. So what happens to the rest of the time? Should we wait and struggle until New Year's? Absolutely not. What I think of is, think of how your life operates. You may decide that you want to put some time aside when you take some time off of work, or you may decide that you want to do it for the seasons, right? Spring cleaning, oftentimes that's a big question. Does that happen? That is a great time. It could be spring. It could be when you're preparing, as we do in Bermuda, to change over the clothes. It could be, sometimes people do it for holidays, as holidays are approaching, Cup Match or Easter, because they think, I'm going to be maybe having people over the house, or it's just that good time. Back to school is another good time. But really and truly, I would say, think about what your own life is like and figure out when it works best for you. So for example, for me, Saturday afternoons tend to be a good time for me to kind of, do a little tidy up for the week, do a little planning for the week, do some food prep. So that's on a weekly basis. But if that doesn't work, then look ahead and see, well, when can I do it? Maybe once a month or once every 2 months. Tie it into what works best for you and your life.
So what are the benefits of decluttering and being better organized?
Goodness, I love this question because, one of my intentions, and I was sharing with Jamal backstage, one of my intentions this year is to really be more intentional about sharing the benefits and sharing the educational aspects of decluttering and organizing. And the benefits are amazing. First and foremost, think about when you walk into a hotel room. Think about, and of course, we're on vacation. So that immediately, typically, we're on vacation or we're in a fresh place. So typically that makes us feel great anyway. But think about how great it feels when you walk in and you see the clear spaces and everything is in its place and the room looks, fresh and airy. Those are the kinds of benefits, number one, that decluttering can create. It's a sense of peace. It's a sense of feeling that everything is where it should be. You can find it easily. And then, of course, when you do it yourself, you reach goals. So every time we, clear out a junk drawer or organize our shoes, we get a sense of self-satisfaction at completing something. It's control. And oftentimes people feel out of control when there's a lot of clutter. And so being able to manage it gives us back that control. It reduces stress. Oftentimes when we see clutter, we get, a bit of cortisol because we think, oh my goodness, I really need to clear that junk or clear that closet. And the opposite is also true. We get that feel-good chemical when we're able to declutter. And also when we organize, that's part of decluttering, right? So it allows us to be more efficient and be able to find something that we actually need without digging all over the place. If you're like me, if my keys do not go in the same place every day, forget it. I can't find them. So it just creates that order so that we can do things more efficiently and also be able to not have a sense of frenzy when we're trying to get out of the house, for example, for school and work, etc.
You know what? That brings me to my next question, because I always want my house to be simplified and to look like a Pinterest board. Is this a realistic vision? And is this what we can expect when you are finished? Because if so, you're hired.
Listen, I wish I could say that that was true. I really do, Sancha. I love the organizing shows. I love the Marie Kondo. I love the home edit, and when you walk out of there, it looks like that hotel room, right? Here's the thing. There are some clients that is what done looks like for them, right? And I always ask clients at the beginning, what does done look like? And many times they say clear spaces. They want to mix the aesthetics in with the decluttering. And that is something that we partner with other individuals. So for example, I'm not an interior designer, absolutely not. I stay in my lane. However, we do have clients that want to bring in that design piece to the clear spaces. But at the same time, we also want to live in reality. And here's what I say with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is not attainable and keepable, if that's a word, I just made that up, because we live life. But what we can do is we can create an environment in which we can quickly put something back together. And here's the key with decluttering and organizing. Once everything has a home, and I do this myself all the time, once everything has a home, we can quickly do what I call a 15-minute freshen up, where we just pop things back in place so that we can create that freshness or that freedom and have it look neat and tidy. I am not opposed as well to if, for example, we don't have time and we just want to kind of shove everything in a little box, I have a little box, right? That's I'll get to it maybe the next day, because I like clear spaces. So don't feel as if it has to be perfect. Don't feel as if it has to be on a structured routine, every day, same place, same time, because that's not life. But what we want to do is create a system that we can quickly get it back together. So we can create beauty when we come to your home. Our clients do see a physical difference in their spaces, absolutely. And we guarantee that. And of course, we have to divide up the projects as well, right? So some clients have smaller projects or bigger projects. So getting to the done look may take a series of sessions. And we talk about that with our clients and let them know. But absolutely, you will feel much better about your space, whether it's your closets, your drawers, whether it's your kitchen. We definitely support that.
So in reading your website, I saw that you provide digital decluttering. What does that look like? And what devices are we referring to? Because all of my devices need it.
I know, it's in this age of technology, and I'm a culprit as well, right? In terms of needing that, as we say, cloud space. So here's the thing. We all have 2 or 3 workspaces, 2 or 3 desktops now. We have our physical desks that we sit at, but we also have our digital desk, which is our computer, our desktop. And so digital decluttering revolves around a same concept of kind of decluttering, getting rid of what you no longer use. If I look back at my computer and I think about documents that I have, or perhaps organizations that I did work for and I no longer do work for, or I'm not involved, then that's something that we can release. So it's really about kind of keeping what we need, right, and what's serving us, and then being able to create folders or places that we can easily find it. So when we declutter a laptop, for example, we do an assessment. We sit down with our clients and we physically look through their folders. What is this? What do you need? Do you use it? And then also it's about categorizing. Naming conventions is super important because that allows us to find something very easily. In the days of now where we have Google Docs and we can just kind of type in anything and find it, that's great. But in terms of being able to at a glance look at something, even if we could find it with a search, with a quick search, it still creates an element of a feeling of disorganization and clutter if we can't look at our desktop and see the folders. So in the same way that years ago we had the hard copy folders and, kind of the old school, we do the same thing on our computers. Same thing with phones. They build up. Pictures, that's a huge one. And luckily, a lot of times the phones will organize it already into years or months, etc. But sometimes folks want to do a little bit more and create certain albums. And we're able to support our clients and help them to do that. Now, when it comes down to some serious IT optimization, I'm going to raise my hand and say, again, I stay in my lane. And so what I do is I connect with other professionals and vendors who can provide kind of that level up IT piece of it for optimizations and systems. So we definitely connect people with that as well.
I want to tell you how bad I need her, Jamal. Do you want to know how many pictures I have on my phone?
Yeah.
38,000.
Why?
Next question. After you come in for the first time and get everything organized, how often are you needing to come back for a refresh?
So everybody is a little bit different. Each client is different and each project is different. And, for me, it's all about, and there's an old saying that says, you want to teach someone how to fish, not just catch the fish for them. You want to teach them how to ride the bike. And so when we work with clients, we're also coaching as well so that they can develop habits and develop systems and do it on their own and also extend that out into their families. And so for us, when we go to a client and we're figuring out what that project looks like, we have a project plan. We sit down and we think about what's the vision, what's the overall vision that you'd like to have, and then we work towards that. There are some clients that say, right, Jodi, if you could come in and we do DIY sessions where we do hands-on decluttering alongside the person, alongside our clients, we teach them how to do it. And then some folks are saying, right, I'm good. I have a project plan and I have some skills now that I can put to work. So folks can do that on their own. There are some folks that say, no. I need you to come in. We bring in some of our team members, depending on how large the project is. And then we work for the number of sessions. So sometimes it might take 3 sessions, 4 sessions. We typically work for maybe 3 hours at a time. And then at each session, we're able to see a positive difference. We're able to see a noticeable difference. And then we move on to the next phase of it. There are some folks that say, listen, I am super busy. I don't have time to, kind of make the calls or, figure out the logistics or schedule other vendors to come in. They want us to kind of do it all. And oftentimes we get that when people are moving or whether they're renovating their homes and they need to move completely out or they're moving overseas. So that person may say, just come in and kind of get me sorted and handle the logistics as well as the physical decluttering. So it depends on the client and it depends on the project that we're working on.
Awesome. So where can people contact you for additional information and consultations?
We have our website, and if you look us up, it's OSB4, the number 4, OSB4me.com. You can find us easily. We're also on Instagram as well, Organized Solutions Bermuda. But the main and the easiest way is to come through our website, because then you're able to either sign up for our email list. And that's, again, another intention. So that's tying into, educating individuals. So I want to really, really do a better job, to be quite transparent, of really connecting with our clients and providing that education, whether it's like a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, etc. But you can also, when you go to OSB4, the number 4, OSB4me.com, you can also book a complimentary consultation. We love to chat with clients who are thinking about it. They're not sure whether they want to start. Sometimes people feel a bit nervous, a bit afraid. Sometimes they feel a bit ashamed. And what I always say is there's no shame in needing that support. When I think about myself, I think about like a personal trainer. I know that I might have to do 10 crunches or 20 crunches. I might have the discipline to do it myself, but sometimes I need that extra help. And that's what we are. We're just a bit of extra support for individuals. So don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like you're alone. There's no judgment on our part. So you can sign up for a complimentary consultation.
All right, we're out of time, but I have a question from the audience. Shikarina asking, how do you work with people who are emotionally attached to their stuff?
Shika, thank you. That's a great question. And that's where it does get a bit challenging. And that's where we're able to connect with the individual to find out what exactly is it about that particular item that holds that emotion. And we work through that and try and figure out a way that we can either donate it or whether we can hold it in a different manner. So sometimes we take pictures of items so that we can have it as a keepsake. But really, decluttering and organizing, you're so right, it starts from within. And so it's a mindset shift that we're looking at so that we can continue to remind individuals that we're not created by our items. We're not a whole person because of our items. The items add to the experiences that we have in life. So it's working through that and being able to support people through it. It's not easy sometimes.
No, thank you so much, Jodi. Really appreciate you. I actually, truthfully, I feel lighter after this conversation. Like I'm hearing, no, sir, because I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, I could throw this away. I could get rid of that. And I mean, I'm known as the person that the hugger and I keep boxes and everything. Like, I'm going to need stuff again and then paying for a storage, which has even more stuff that don't need, and I have, probably visited in 4 years, probably 3 times. And so it's like somebody, you were like yelling at me, but without yelling at me, like, you know how someone's speaking to you. So I feel you, Sancha, but thank you so much. And I know one of the things that's really popular amongst people I've known my entire life is spring cleaning. And I want to have you back, as we enter spring to kind of speak about that and how, we tend to change over clothes for seasons and do this thing called spring cleaning and how it actually impacts the way we live. But before you go, one last thing. Charles H. Jefferson is being funny in the audience. He asked, I have a simple question. Do you make your bed every day? And I'm going to answer first. It wouldn't be made if I was the only one sleeping in it. That's my answer. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness. Charles, I mean, that's a great question. It's not every day, but I would say it's probably 99% of the time. And that gets into the habits that we create. So I try and, employ a situation of if I can do it quickly, like as we say in Bermuda, one time, if I can do something one time. So as soon as I get up, I just kind of pull those blankets and the comforter up. 99% of the time I do. And that's a great way that's the first goal I've achieved. Heck, I'm going to take it. That's a win for me.
Well, my excuse is I'm already at work and someone else is still in there. What about you, Sancha?
If time allows, I have a little one that jumps in bed with me some hour in the morning and he doesn't like to get up sometimes and we're running out of the house. But fun fact, if I come home and my bed, obviously I haven't made my bed in the morning, I make up my bed before I get in it.
But you just, Jodi, have a wonderful day.
I'm with you, Sancha.
Appreciate you. We'll talk soon, Jodi.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Jamel. Thank you, Sancha. Thank you,
Really,
Bermuda.
Virgil, folks, please reach out to another great community conversation. If you enjoyed that conversation, found it helpful, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Please share these conversations. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up after Daily Play. And you want to check this Daily Play. It's music. It's fun.
I love music.
You're all going to get it. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thanks again to Jodi, Virgil from Organized Solutions Bermuda. Really, really good conversation, folks. So much to take in. Please share it. Dudley McHale says, I'm really enjoying your morning show here in the United Kingdom. Why, thank you. I think that's Tamara's mom. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Tamara said, I'm decluttering at the moment. I feel so lighter already too. It helps mentally as well. I could imagine the effects of it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could only be a good thing. Sherry says, I cannot focus and clutter. It gives me anxiety. Interesting. Well, let's get to the it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. It's music today. So you're going to guess, what song do these lyrics belong to? Quote.
Now, don't slow it down where you're talking like just, just
You
say
won't do it okay. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place, it was brighter than tomorrow.
Michael Jackson? That's not Michael Jackson?
Yes, it's Michael Jackson. What's the name of the song? You.
Is that a Heal the World?
Yes.
Oh.
Jeez. You second guess yourself.
This is why I'm bad at this. And I'm trying to teach my son not to second guess himself. And here I am doing the same.
Yeah, like you're like, and you didn't say it like, yes, don't. Look, folks, I'm gonna tell them. We have our chats on the side. I'm like, it has it all. Like, I'm just like, you got self-belief. It's like a person with self-belief that don't believe sometimes. Like, yes, it's Heal the World. Come on, lady.
Yes, okay, got it.
Now, Sarah's gonna act like you want it for both of you. No, she better got hers right on Friday. No. She ain't got no credit for today.
Listen, the amount of trash you talk in that group about me and Sherry and how we act.
Me?
We won together today. Okay?
Me? Man, you got the wrong
person. Us, Sherry. We are.
No, you may have my name saved as Larry or Phil, because I say good stuff. I say good stuff. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts. What was the discussion? Oh, dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
As I am a paws lover, not a dog lover. Paws came out of a need of necessity. And I just think that we need to, as I said in the beginning, differentiate the people that have dogs for the wrong reasons, the fighters, and training them to be vicious. And we need to find a way to figure that out. And it comes from, as you say, the breeding. Those people that are breeding dogs illegally, those are the dogs I personally feel, and I could be wrong, are the dogs that are probably going to be out attacking. We need to figure that out. Jodi struck so many nerves today. As you can, I need her in my life, but I am that person that is so nervous of the process, because in certain aspects I can be a hoarder. I am the person that declutters right before Christmas because I want my house to look, we talked about this. I still have the Christmas tree up. I want my house to be a certain way come Christmas time. So that's when I declutter. But I admittedly need her because I feel scatterbrained when I am full of clutter. I am so much lighter and so much better and so much more productive once I'm organized and decluttered.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I think as far as the dogs, again, I love dogs, other people's dogs. And I think that, you know, when dogs are raised right, they'll act right. I feel for people who have been attacked, but there's something that needs to be done. I don't like heavy-handed approaches. I think that should be last resort. So I just think that we need to take a look at who's breeding them, and who's owning dogs. And there comes a certain level of responsibility with the privilege of owning a dog. But we definitely need to do something, because as the government saying they're underreported, and 4 attacks in one day is not a good look for a small community like Bermuda. As far as Jodi, appreciate the work she's doing. I tell you no lie. I absolutely appreciate the work that she's doing, coming on this show to educate people about the benefits of decluttering and being better organized. And my hope is, I'm like, I don't like New Year's resolutions. I don't care for resolutions. I care for lifestyle changes. When I, say I'm not drinking anymore, or giving up direct dairy and cheese and stuff like that, it's not a resolution. It's a lifestyle change. I believe in, doing things that are going to improve my life, not improve my life over a certain period of time. So I would encourage people to really take in the things that Jodi said and see how they can utilize them to improve their lives, because that's the purpose of what we do here every day. It's to have conversations that will improve the lives of all in our community. On that note, Sancha, do you have any daily inspiration for the audience?
I do. It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change.
I love
And that's by Queen Elizabeth II.
I love that one. I love that. All right, folks. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.